What's up, my fellow collectors of all things collectible? Welcome to another edition of Figure This, Figure That, the Don's Figure Chat. Today we're doing an exceptionally nice piece. It is the VTS Toys Ghost of Battlefield 1/6 action figure. He's in the bowing stance known as Ishaku, which is bowing deferentially to say hello, and it's a respect thing. Japan is all about saving face, or face as they call it, which is all about respect, honor, truth, and all the good things. Okay, so if you go down, you can see his armor there. That's all die cast. The ropes are real ropes. Where you see chain, it's real chain. All the armor parts, the plates all around this figure, all die cast. You come down, all of these flaps are wired to give you better posing accuracy. You come down to shin guards and feet, where he's got the traditional sandals on with die-cast shin guards. He's on the dojo floor with a very nice base, The base is really nice. This is not the exclusive version that comes with Fox and diorama base. This is the standard one. As you can notice, he hasn't got the blue jacket on. I've ordered that separate as a loose part. I wasn't too bothered about the base, but the jacket is really, really nice and just adds more authenticity to the figure. I think you all know where it's from. It's from the Ghost of Tsushima PlayStation game. And VTS have done a magnificent job, They really have. Over here is the art box with a foam insert. Everything's all nice and tucked tidily away inside. There you see the logo and the name, Ghost of Battlefield by VTS. You come down, as you can imagine, he's got plenty of expressive hands. So the first two at the back there are for holding the katana and various swords. The last one at the back on the left is for the drawing of the arrow. These two are left and right hand for holding the bow. These are grab hands, or grappling hands, or rip your face off hands. He comes with two throwing blades. He comes with a flash bomb, and I think the other one, I can't remember actually, but he comes with two bombs. He's got his flute, three short arrows, which are the yellow ones in the game, three red ones, which are longer, all die cast, all die cast. He comes with his mask, which he's famous for as the Ghost of Tsushima. You come over here and you get the katana. I'd be mispronunciation the swords names, so I'm not going to do them any disjustice by doing that. But you can even see the quench on the blade. You must know these blades are folded and welded, some of them over 1,000 times, and each step is quenched in oil and water, which gives those lacquer quench marks. The scabbards are all ornate, and yeah, just three beautiful pieces, Look at the handles. The detailing that's gone into these is really, really nice, Really nice. Come over here. He's got the traditional samurai bow that can be used on horseback or standing. They have got a shorter bow for on horseback, but they can use this one. Got the detailing on that. Really, really nice. And when it's in his hands, or in your hand, I should say, you can feel the quality. You can feel the quality of it. That's his cloak, which is also wired down each side. That's his kerchief for when he's riding on a horse through sandstorms or just to hide his face. And yeah, hey man, as soon as I opened this, I was so excited, eh? And Moate didn't know it was coming. He thought it was the Harley Quinn figure. And when he seen this, he nearly had a heart attack. There's one thing I'll point out that you must be careful of. He comes with these, see these things hanging here at the back of his hand? This is like armor for the hands. So the upper piece goes over the thumb, and this piece, by means of elastic band on the inside, goes over the fingers and onto the palm. But it is attached to the actual outfit. So just be careful when you first get this figure. Don't go pulling the hands out thinking that, okay, it's just a little stuck, and pulling off that whole armor piece. Yeah, I nearly did it. Then I just thought, hey, whoa, something's not right here, and I checked, and yeah. So be careful of that, eh? Other than that, beautiful, beautiful piece. And I said Selena Kyle was the first figure of the year in the studio, which she was, but this is the first brand new figure of the year in the studio. And oh man, I could wax lyrical about him the whole day. The level of detailing, like the chains are real, the rope's real, all the armor is die cast. It's just magnificent, the amount of detail they've put in this figure. He's got two throwing knives attached to almost like a shoulder strapping that goes over the body and the outfit. They've got two little pins each, one either side, but mine arrived with one of the pins broken, so I've just tucked it behind the shoulder strapping there. I think one thing they could have given us is a quiver for the arrows, because there's no way of him carrying the arrows. I don't know if they fit in a quiver on the horse. I'm not too sure how the samurai carried arrows. We were thinking of using just a Rambo black bag quiver, and I'll see how that looks later on in the video. But yeah, for now, as I say, he's just bowing to you. It's called Ishaku. There's 3 types of bowing in Japan. This is the first one. It is just the greeting of hello, out of respect, you know? Like we would say and shake hands, how are you? Da-di-da-di-da, this is their way. The type of bowing gets more severe as you go to different categories, like all the way up to a death, or where you've committed an act where you have to deferentially bow, more than likely on your knees, to ask for forgiveness. Look at the sandals. I think that is such a beautiful touch, eh? How they've nailed the sandals like that. Doesn't he just look magnificent, eh? I'll tell you what, these companies, Hot Toys, are going to have to be careful, eh? Because these companies are starting to knock figures out the park. You've just had the Limb Toys Gunslinger released, which everyone is touting as figure of the year of last year. If that is so, then already we've got a real contender here for figure of the year 2022, and we've only just started. Beautiful piece. I can't wait to get him in some sword poses, and I think in the 360s he is going to be a gem, eh? Yeah. I mean, look, they've even got the rattan underneath the armor there. You see that feathered stuff coming out the bottom? That's a separate piece. It's to stop the armor chafing on your leg. It's yeah, and extra protection for knife cuts, not so much knife thrusts or sword thrusts, but the cuts. Yeah, I love him, eh? I think he's a really, really special piece. And for a gamer's piece, because this is out of a game, oh man, you expect this type of quality on a movie masterpiece, not on a gaming figure. So as I say, Hot Toys are going to have to start upping up their game, because these boys are coming with the blood in their eyes. So watch this space. Okay, so I'll just go over the accessories again. He already comes with 2 die-cast throwing knives in that sash. He arrives with the 2 grappling hands with the armor on. I've changed the hands out. That's another thing to be careful of. Besides the actual hand armor is the wrist pegs. It's got the long, let's have a look down here. It's got the long thin shaft, which are notorious for breaking. So also be careful with that. So as you see him there, is as he arrives, I've put nothing on him except change the hands. This here is his art box. Also very nice, very understated, but very classy. And then at the bottom there, I don't know what the Japanese word is written there. I think maybe ghost or actual Ghost of Battlefield. It's made by VTS. You come with 2 sword holding hands right at the back. The one at the extreme left is the quiver hand for pulling of the bow. This is left and right hand for holding the bow. 2 spare wrist pegs. 2 incendiary bombs. 2 plastic throwing daggers. His flute. 3 yellow short arrows. 3 red long arrows. All 6 are die cast. You come to his swords. The other one, the long one, is quite a common one, so I'll say that, katana. But the others, I don't want to do him any dishonor by, or the Japanese any dishonor by messing up their native tongue, you know. So I won't name the other ones because I can't pronounce them properly. But look at that, man. As I say, you can see the quench on the blade. That's a lovely touch, eh? He comes with the very identifiable face mask, which is attached by means of rope or twine. He comes with a kerchief. He comes with his wired cloak. And I would imagine that insignia is of his clan, the samurai clan that he's a part of. He comes, I think these are called Zen bows, Z-E-N. I think that's what they're called, because they were used in the practice of Zen. So I'm sure they've got an official name. but I wouldn't be able to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. But look at the detail. Really nice, man. Really nice. And as I say, when you pick it up, the quality is there to feel and to see. And then you get the figure himself with his little diorama base there, looking like the floor of a dojo. And there we have, well, I think his name is Jack Sai, something like that. So I'll leave yous with a deferential bow on the Ghost of Battlefield while we start getting prepared for some poses. Okay, I'll see you on the flip. So here we have him in another fighting pose, now with mask on and the smallest of the swords in his hand. And a little trick of the trade, you know, I've been complaining about these hand armors and the elastic band that fits them to the hand. Okay, I might be stupid, but the best way to do it is to fit the hand into the armor before you put it on the peg. The only reason I was doing it like with the peg in the hand and putting the hand on then the armor was because these pegs are notorious for breaking, these thin shaft pegs. So yeah, a bit of an idiot. I think I should have, you know, looked into it instead of rushing ahead and just doing it. That's how things are broken. But nothing's broke, thank the Lord. But yeah, they don't stretch very far. So if I were you, I'd use them sparingly, because that elastic is not the best, you know. I've had to use it a lot today because we needed some poses with the hand armor on. I love this stance. It looks so martial arty. And I'm learning to get around the articulation now with the tunic and the trousers. As long as you don't get him trying to do can-can dance, you're all right. And I'm sure even some of the master posers will get that. There's his armor flaps blowing in the wind. They're all wired. I've wrapped the chain back around the joint. There you can see the chain. And I think it's actually a kind of weapon because it's attached to a piece of string. And I think if you let that unfurl, you'd have a weapon. I'd have to check in the game. I've never played the game. I've only just watched it, guys playing it online. I must look into that. Because they do use stuff like that, don't they? I think they're called flailing chains. It flails the very skin off your bones when you hit with it. I got hit with a bike chain back in my youth. And a sjambok. Been hit with a sjambok quite a few times. Look it up. It's a long rubber whip with a tapered thing at the end. It's what the Afrikaners used to use to control the cattle. But they started using it as a vaser, as in get off my property, or yeah, and you end up with a couple of whips. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into spinners after this. So this will be the first spinner. You'll be able to see the posture and See everything better. So with that said, boys and girls, let's get to spinning. Let's get spinner. Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical. Yeah, I'm a font of information. Right, I'll see yous on the... Right, so here we have him in a simple but very effective pose. Try and guess where I got this from. It's called eagle claw, where you pluck someone's eye out. That's right, Kill Bill, Uma Thurman. There's no stress at all on any of the joints, maybe this shoulder joint, but the tunic holds it up. I've taken the kerchief off and I've taken the cloak off, so you can get some real action going with nothing in the way when he's using his martial arts. Still standing on the dojo floor, although he's now in someone's house and he's just killing everybody, because the guy behind the remote is a sadist. But yeah, he looks dope, eh? So as you can see, I've put both hand armors on, because inevitably this is going to be one of the poses I'll leave him in the shelf, in the display cabinet. But I'll have a sword in one hand, so I'll fit one of the hand armors to the sword hand. It should look quite dope. And maybe string his bow around his back, Robin Hood style. I posed him really hard yesterday, and there seems to be nothing wrong whatsoever. All the joints are still tight, everything still works as it should. These come undone quite a bit, these bamboo lace-ups around the shin guards. But as long as you just tighten them every so often, especially if you're posing him for videos like this, just give them a tug. And they're sweet. Give them a tug. Sounds a bit fail Earl. Check those sandals, man, eh? I thought I loved... just another thing, I've got a foot fetish. I loved Robocop's boots. Alex Murphy's boots. But these sandals in the feet with those stockings. Yes, man. Fucking quality. Oops. Quality. Yeah, so I just wanted to show him in a martial arts pose. It doesn't all have to be about swords. Let's see if we can get a bit of an overhead one there. Yeah. Honestly, a fantastic piece. Really is. The Limb Toys Gunslinger and this figure has kind of blown Hot Toys out the water, eh? Okay, quality of body and quality of accessories. Well, I think Hot Toys lead the way. But as for the tailoring and materials used and research, and okay, this figure comes from a game, but it would still have to have been researched before they built him, you know. Should we try and get one of those, just the hand in focus shots? There we go. That's the last thing you'd see coming towards you as he pulls out your eye. The face is excellent, eh? They've got so much character in that face, it's unreal. He like breathes the part. I took the kerchief and the cloak off. I was scared in case it stains the neck. You know, as dark items of apparel have got an apt of doing. So there he is. Jin Sakai. Ghost of Battlefield, aka Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't say that. It was somebody else. Oh, I dreamt about this figure last night. I posed him so much yesterday. He was in my bloody dreams. And when I got up, I had to show Muerte all the spinners. And then I realized, oh, okay, I've got loads of different angle spinners, but only 4 poses. So I'm back in the booth today, doing some more lacquer poses for you to check. What's come loose now is, you see, well, I thought it came loose, those chains around the wrist. Yeah, when you pull the hand out to change it, the chain wraps around, and one of the loops has fallen out. So I must just, when I change the hand, wrap it back round. This hand armor, can you see it? Is really nice, eh? But I can see the straps breaking rather quickly. You can see one there in that hand across the palm, and then there's one that goes over the thumb. So you can imagine changing that all the time, it's going to snap. So that's why yesterday when I was doing all the poses, I left them loose. But we needed them done today for this eagle claw. Okay, so now it's the start of the new 360s. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm a prat. Okay, so with all that said, yes, I'll leave you looking into the eyes of Jin Sakai, and see you on the flip. Okay, that's me back in sort of his first action pose. I've got him holding the bow. He's got his kerchief up to his face because the wind is blowing quite hard. He's in a stepping up position, so one foot is raised higher than the other. He's got his arrow planted firmly in the ground next to him, ready to let loose. Okay, as for articulation, these trousers do hinder a bit, as well as on the upper torso, the tight tunic that he wears also hinders. Other than that though, bloody perfect. Perfect, I say. He's got his swords into his rope belt. You can see I've manipulated the tabs to look as if they're flying in the wind, as well as his cloak. So yeah, I didn't want to put the mask on straight away. I thought we'll leave a couple of surprises for when he's using the actual swords. The long katana goes on his back. The bow, he's got the bow holding hand. It's quite a tight fit. And as you can see, I haven't used the hand armors. I'm going to use those as least as I can, because I've got a feeling the strapping will eventually break. So I'm only going to use it in certain poses. So I think maybe once I put him in the detail in the display cabinet for display purposes, then I'll put them back on. But for these types of poses where I'm posing in the studio, I don't think it's really necessary. But yeah, I say again, boy oh boy oh boy oh boy, what a lovely piece, eh? He really is. He does. VTS have done him big time justice. Whoever was the designer of this figure must be a Ghost of Tsushima fan, because there's a lot of love and attention gone into the detailing of this piece. Really magnificent piece. I know I say that about every figure, but most of the figures that I've got are figures that I've kept because of being such magnificent pieces. So forgive me for saying that for almost every piece I put in this bloody studio. 9 times out of 10, it's true. Look at that, man. I mean, for a game figure, that looks just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yeah, as I was saying, the bow hand, it is a tight fit, especially down by that thick part of the bow. But yeah, they've got a weird way of shooting bow and arrow, these Zen monks. They kind of hold it away from their body. Yeah, it's quite a weird stance. I don't know why they do it like that. Maybe it's diligence and correctness of form. But I've always thought it looked weird. But then again, these guys are expert archers, eh? So, yeah, the proof is in the pudding. These green sashes around the shin, well, the shin armor, they do come loose. I've just had to tighten them again, but they're only held with a simple crossover knot. So, yeah, once you tighten them, though, they seem to hold the knot, which is lacquer. Yeah, the die-cast armor, brilliant. All the details just going up the sleeve is amazing. The metal chain, the rope, the twine. Yeah, man, really dope, eh? As I say, the attention to detail is just magnificent. Really is, eh? Down to the smallest thing. They've put first-class attention into the details. You'd almost say that this is a movie masterpiece, never mind a bloody gaming figure. Okay, before I get guilty of waffling, let's move onwards and upwards. I think we'll do 2 more poses, one with the mask on and katana drawn. I think we'll keep the bow firing one for a 360 and using the small blades for a 360. This figure does warrant more 360s than anything else. Because of the tightness of the outfit, you are limited to poses. So I don't want to show all the poses in the video before we do the 360s. Sweet amigo. Sweet. Let's go in. One last light up pose, as I call them. Look at that, man. Yes, that's dope. Dope-alicious indeed. So I'll leave you looking into the samurai's eyes. He's wondering where to place that arrow, either in between your eyes or deep into your schneck. And I'll see yous on the flip. Right, that's me back. We've got him with the long katana, the one that fits onto his back. We've got that in his hands. The other 2 still in his rope belt. He's in a common enough stance. Back foot raised onto toe. Right leg ready for the lunge. Almost like a boxing stance, but with a blade. So now you can see him in more detail. such as the armor, the pouches, the ropes. I mean, look at the rope in between. Let's see if I can get you there, just in between the blue sash and the armor, the rope effect they've done. That's really nice, eh? Yeah, makes for a really exciting figure to pose as well. There you can see I've finally put the face mask on. Doesn't that look fantastic? I think so. And wherever they've been able to use the real thing, they have. Except obviously the steel for the swords, for the katanas and that. I could imagine if they made that out of die cast, those would be cutting each other left, right and center. Me and Michael have got an ongoing battle where I'll say, well, my Punisher will kick your Punisher's ass. Childish, I know, but it's ongoing. Yeah, beautiful figure to pose, eh? You want to pose him, if you know what I mean. Because he's got such awesome accessories, and it's such an awesome, what's the word? Not character. Profession, is that the right word? But yeah, he's just total warrior. I wouldn't like to face him down. Would you? There's a beast, man. Beast. Been studying and training for years on how to inflict the most fatal of sword stances, sword thrusts, I should say. So this guy knows like at least 1,000 ways, at least, on how to pierce you with that blade, and certain stances and certain katas that you follow through. I'm trying to think what the name is. It Kinjutsu? Oh, I'll look it up. I'll look it up afterwards. The art of sword fighting, Japanese style. If there's any Japanese lads or ladies watching this, my apologies if I'm pronouncing shit wrong or explaining wrong. I was so excited to get this on video that I didn't do my usual research. I'm trying to, that's his name, Van Lisbader. He writes a book, a couple actually. The first one I think is White Ninja. And as much as it pretentious as it sounds in the title, it's a really excellent book, eh? He goes deep into what these lads study, how they study it, why they study it. Really good book to read. And there's a follow-on called Blackheart. It's about these lads that grow up in, I think it's Vietnam or Cambodia. Cambodia and Vietnam. And yeah, the American forces use them for special ops. And Nicholas, he's got Oriental mother and white father. But this sensei takes him in when he's really, really young and trains him to be a ninja. But I know it sounds like it's one of those Steven Seagal movies. It's not. It's very factual and really, really good read, eh? You learn a lot about these fellas, a lot. Okay, so there's one pose down. I think we've got one more pose left to do. I'll have to check, because as I say, I don't want to throw all the poses away before the 360s. I have put this armor, I don't know if you can notice, I've put the armor on the thumb, but I haven't put the band over the hand. I didn't want to stress it, because I can see that breaking quite easily. So yeah, there we have it, boys and girls. The first Ghost of Battlefield action pose. I couldn't be happier. And I said that tunic, the tight tunic, hinders the articulation. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. You can actually get it shoulder height. Not in every angle, but yeah, you can do stuff with him. Sounds kinky, doesn't it? Do stuff with him. And there he molds into the background like a true samurai. This is who Batman copied his armor off. The samurai. Some will say it's a ninja. I'll say no, it's a samurai. Just another quick point. When I was in the Marines, there was this guy that took us for unarmed combat. His name was Ben Mangles. I think it was like almost like a stage name or whatever. But he taught the SAS. He taught a lot of the special forces all over the world. And I was reading a magazine one day in South Africa, years after I left the Marines. And for the guys that used to live in Durban back in the 80s, there used to be a sword and armor and gun shop on the corner in the main street opposite the one Randa, the breakfast place. That was his place. And in this magazine it stated he was the only ninja, white ninja, in South Africa at the time. I don't know if it was a gimmick or not, but this guy, I mean, he said, who's the fighters out of you lot? So I used to box in the Marines. So they said, Dale. So he says, okay, come. And he says to me, okay, take a punch. So, he says, no, man, take a punch. He was about 5'6", 5'7". So I took a punch at him, and before I knew it, he had me tied up like a knot. In agony. Arms wrapped around my neck, legs wrapped around his. He just tied me up in just pain, eh? Even though he only held it for like 3-4 seconds. And then he says, okay, all you Kung Fu fighters, he says, I bet you all think you know how to use nunchucks. Yeah, you do that. He goes to his car and he comes back and he says, this is nunchucks. It was just 2 solid pieces of oak tied together with nylon rope. And he says it takes 16,000 pounds per square inch, if I remember correctly, to crush a human bone to powder. These things can hit with that type of force. So he says, when you see all these gimmicky nunchucks around the world, he says, just remember, these are nunchucks. Oh, well, I thought a little interesting story there. Ben Mangles. I wonder if he's still alive. He was about 55 when he started taking us. Okay, well, enough of that. Let's go onwards and upwards. I've already wasted 10 minutes on this beast. Well, wasted talking your heads off. So we'll go in to leave you looking in your assassin's eyes. Imagine waking up and seeing that above you. Yes, you would double shit yourself if you had a chance. See you on the flip. All right, so here we have him back in a new katana pose, where he's got it adjacent down the length of his body. This hand is ready to claw your eyeball out. So yeah, I wouldn't see this out taking shit very lightly. Again, he just fell into line. The body is very sturdy, the joints are good. Yeah, he works his magic, eh? Very similar stance to the last one, except this one, his shoulder line is straight, twisted upper torso. Again, his front foot being the pivot and his back foot being the leap. You can see the wired tabs bent up with the wind. Yeah, hey. I can't stop saying it enough. What a magnificent piece, eh? I'm telling you, Hot Toys better start getting concerned, because there's a lot of stuff going wrong with Hot Toys at the moment. Things going through QC that shouldn't. And yeah, just dropping the ball a little bit. Don't get me wrong, Hot Toys is still a pinnacle when it comes to 1/6 action figures. But these companies like VTS and Lim Toys, Blitzway, Damn Toys, they are really picking up their game, eh? Because I think they know there's a market out there. We want quality pieces like the DXs of old from Hot Toys, where you got tons of accessories, man, and special diorama bases that only came with a DX. And yeah, no, they've done the same with this one. They didn't do it with the Lim Toys Gunslinger, but this VTS have done it. There is a diorama base with I don't know if it's supposed to represent the fox with 9 tails, but there's a fox with a bit of a bonsai effect diorama base and a banner flag that comes with it. As I say, the exclusive also, he wears this blue wired overcoat, like quilted. I've bought that loose to put on this piece here. I wasn't too bothered about the diorama base, because 9 times out of 10 you can't even display it, because it's too big once the figure's on it to put in your display cabinet. So I suppose nice to have, you know, nice to have, you know, just for variation on your figure. But I think the 360s with this one is going to be the kicker. The 360s are going to be dope, eh? Because he gets into such fantastic poses. See, as I was saying, he really is a credit to VTS for what they've put out here. I've had a couple of VTS over the years. I had their Wasteland Ranger. That was really good. Goes for extravagant prices nowadays. But yeah, it is a dope figure. It came out in response to the Mad Max Fury Road. They called theirs the Wasteland Ranger. Art Figures called theirs the Crazy Racer. And I say Art Figures came out with the best outfit and accessories, but the Wasteland Ranger had the best head sculpt. So it's another case of mix and match, you know. But then 11 did a Tom Hardy. As you say the word and as you spell it, 11. They do third-party head sculpts. And they're usually bloody good. I've got one at the moment for my Ben Affleck. Batman versus Superman. Okay, well, let's press on. I think one more pose and we'll go 360. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You agree? Right. So I'll leave you looking again into the eyes of the assassin that is the Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, we're back this time with the two-sworded stance. He's got the long katana in his left hand, and he's got the short blade in his right. Cutting edge facing towards you, and on that side is the cutting edge facing away. Again, his cloak blown in the wind, and again a pleasure to pose. Very easy, although I am starting to come across more and more hindrance on the articulation. Not major, but it's there. But still, I mean, look at that. If you can get a pose like that, no stress on the joints, you could leave him in your display like that quite easily. And damn, man, he looks impressive. He looks really impressive. This figure is a honey. It would be a Bo Derek, a 10. 10 out of 10. It's as if the body was made to get into these kinjitsu, the art of sword. Oh, I was right, by the way. The art of sword fighting. I think it's also called kendo, if I'm not mistaken. I remember wanting to get into it when I was a kid, but my mom, she put the koshes on that. But I was young, and it's an expensive hobby to get into, you know. But I've always had a fascination with blades, and yeah, was no exception when I was younger. I miss my knife collection. It was such a dope thing to have, especially the sword canes. They were beautiful, eh? All Damascus, Odin's Eye. Really nice. I had all the custom folders, custom fixed blades, made from all sorts of Damascus, and yeah, Damascus was my go-to steel. And you start meeting some of the knife makers from the guild, and they make their own Damascus. So you'll buy one from them, and yeah, no, it just goes on and on. But Burger knives was my favorite. Look them up. Look at their sword canes, and you'll see why I fell in love with them. So this, I think, is going to be our first spinner pose, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's time to get into the spinners before you start getting bored of my posing skills. Because I say, you're not limited, but you are limited. Yeah, makes sense? Thought so. Okay, one last look at the man that is the Ghost of Battlefield, or as we know him, Ghost of Tsushima. And he's just about to chop, slice and dice his way into your heart. I'll see yous in the 360s.